At least once you've tried to get out of school because you were nervous about a test. I've been there too, and I know that it can be absolutely nerve-wracking. I've done research and found studies to prove that it can be beneficial to remove tests from schools. Test anxiety can overcome your mind, which can determine whether you pass or fail, and it will show that tests are not reliable. Anxiety has many different forms, and the biggest one in teens is test anxiety. It can look different from everybody, but it starts with the same panic. It can have difficulty concentrating or procrastination because of stress. With test anxiety, you might feel lightheaded or even nauseous during a test, and those with really bad test anxiety might have panic attacks or even hyperventilation. After a test, if you're still panicking, most students overstudy for the next test, which can actually make it worse. According to the Learning Center from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, research studies shows that students who have high perfectionism and self-criticism tend to have higher test anxiety and do worse on test exams. Test anxiety is not just before and during the exam, but it can actually worsen with the results. After a test, all anyone wants to know is whether you passed or failed, whether you were a winner or a loser. Results is all anyone wants to know, and those who passed are praised. They are constantly over and over praised until they feel like a bar is set to a high A. Feeling like they need to meet those highest marks or that they are disappointed if they don't reach them is a test anxiety fear that they face with every test. They must be perfect and top of the class, and that can make their test worse. It's the same with those who have lower scores. They are labeled as low learners, and that can create low self-esteem. If they're given zero expectations before the test, they feel like they have zero reason to try. Some kids feel that they don't need to learn a certain topic, so the desire to study for it isn't even there. Perhaps those who do fail multiple times just need a different aspect to learning. According to Professor John Drawn from a 2017 article from The Landing, even those that do want or need to learn a topic must stick with it, regardless of whether or not it is useful, or that they feel they need more or less of it, or that it is the right way for them to learn it. They must do all that we teachers say they must do, or that we won't give them that gold star. If a professor is saying this about tests, does it really mean that they are reliable enough? Whether you are learning about the Bill of Rights or the quadratic formula, tests over any topic aren't 100% reliable. Tests are simply a memory game. They don't show the intelligence of a student, just that, did you remember what the teacher taught you 2 weeks ago? They don't take into account different test anxiety from students or their different learning styles or what's going on at home. It's just a memory game. Students might remember fact A about a topic but forget fact B, and that could change their A to an F. According to a 2014 article by Jacelia Bonklin from the University of Heard, researchers from the University of East Anglia in the UK found that college students could remember up to 40% of their high school studies by their second week at university. Most tests are timed. You only have your one class period to finish the test. Time tests restrain students from having enough time to answer every question to the best of their abilities. Students are rushing, trying to get every question answered, and not paying attention. That could change their grade to an F. It makes tests very inaccurate and not reliable, and that student might have passed the class if they only had enough time. Whether students are 10, 15, or even 20 years old, test anxiety can overcome their mind, which can result in a pass or a fail in the separation of winners to losers. Those who pass and fail show that tests cannot always be reliable. If schools really want to see how much students have learned at the end of a topic, maybe they could have more projects and small quizzes, but tests are not the way to go.
I absolutely agree. 4 6 4 20 14.